for your Talking Basketball Podcast.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Talking Basketball Podcast. I am Mark.
I am Paul, and welcome back.
Welcome back to another show. This week, we've already covered the SLB and the wonderful games we've had in the season of the fourth round of the trophy. Put my teeth in. Now it's time for some NBA news.
We've had some posterizers. We've had some rejections.
Physical week. That's the way to put it.
Chippy.
Yeah, love it. So, NBA. NBA is kicking off this week, the week we're recording.
It is kicking off this week, Mark.
It is.
And I'll be there with all you Orlando Magic fans for the opening.
And who are you seeing? Do you
Brooklyn
remember?
Nets, Mark. Yeah. I'm there for the Brooklyn Nets, the Indiana Pacers, and the Pelicans. All three games.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That's pretty, because they've got quite a few. The Orlando Magic have
Row
got
4 for the
two-
Pacers. Boom.
Oh yeah, you got the you're doing the VIP thing for the Pacers, aren't you?
Yep.
You know what that means? That's going to be the first
Free beer. That's what that means, Mark.
You go in the family. You can't have free beer.
I'm only going with the boys.
You have to be a
That'll be right.
responsible adult.
The uncle will be there. He's driving. Boom.
Oh, no.
Look, I'm not going to go and get
Hang on.
smashed.
No, really. I went to the last game with you like that. Like I was the one carrying your beers.
I don't know if I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast, but
You were steaming that game.
yeah, I was well on my way. And you were trying to, I don't know if you know this or not, but you were talking about upgrading our seats to go VIP for the next game.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I was talking to a current Portsmouth Force player,
Yes.
just outside the Orlando Magic changing rooms, and I was saying to him about doing it like a move, what you should be doing. So, what you need to turn around, and I kind of like did a turnaround dunk on him, like turn around, like get him, like bam, like.
Yeah.
And as I did it, I rolled my ankle on his foot. And so you guys were trying to upgrade, and there's me on the floor, just roll my ankle, trying to posterize
I didn't
a
see that.
tutorial.
What I did see is there in the VIP section is a cabinet.
Yes.
And in this cabinet,
Yeah.
there is all kinds
Chocolate,
of
crisps,
sweetie delights.
M&Ms. Ooh.
And if you're in the VIP section, you can help yourself to those sweetie things, can't you?
Yeah, and there's those massive cookies. Remember that?
Oh, all I remember was that we walked to the from the bar, and the second time we walked up, because we then realised that you don't have to pay for the beer because it's part of the thing.
You have to tip.
So I don't drink, but you do. So it was like, well, you carry my beer. And I was like, I've got a Coke. So I had one
you
Coke.
did have a,
What?
You did have something. You had a whiskey and Coke, I think.
I don't drink whiskey.
No, you had something.
Which is ironic because I not only before I stopped drinking, but I hated whiskey because that was the one that I was crazy and I went in a shopping trolley. So, because of that, I hate the smell of it. And about 2 years ago, you bought me a Christmas present, which was a bottle of whiskey.
There you go.
And I was like, there you go. And I was like,
Now you've told me that little story.
thanks.
Guess what you're getting this Christmas?
Yeah.
Little bottle of whiskey.
It was the same as the year that when my car tyre blew up and I ended up crashing my car. That year, you got me some fluffy dice. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, dear,
It's like
that's
literally my
funny.
car is there, completely binned, and you're like, yeah, I have a couple of dice. Like, thanks very much.
You're
Anyway,
welcome.
we're totally off topic.
You're welcome.
NBA. So you're going to be going to the sweetie cupboard with the boys. This is where I'm getting to. So that's going to be that you're going to be on that Monday or Tuesday,
Yeah,
isn't it?
you guys were saying I was taking the mic, but I wasn't taking the mic that much. It's like every 20 minutes, just go up, grab one.
Grab one.
We're there for
For-
2 hours before tip-off.
for each pocket. Listen,
Yeah.
at least you know you're going to be eating some good food because that was the thing that was. We were sat there
nice
eating
smell.
that like this is the first proper food we've eaten since we've actually been over it. Because it's no Chick-fil-A, is it? It's proper.
Yeah, no, it's a great experience, and then obviously the actual we're in that close to the court, you feel the impact and
amazing.
all that. It's great. You see the referees looking at each other like, you sure? And
Yeah.
you hear the coach.
Yeah,
with
and you hear them
their
when they're
language
backing them
sometimes.
down. You hear the impact.
yeah.
Of like,
They're not mucking around, those
nah,
guys.
I think the boys
And,
are going to really
and,
benefit from that.
Yeah, it was. The other funny story I remember is we.
Indiana, that's the one you're doing VIP for.
Yeah.
That's the game we did the VIP for last time. That was the one that was the shortest game in NBA history.
Oh,
That was the Indiana game.
Hopefully it'll be longer this time.
Yeah. I
Well,
expect
so there was the last time we did it. There was a I went because to go and get another beer in the third quarter, and he gave me the beer, and that's when he was like, "Yeah, it's $15 or $12, whatever it was." And I was like, "What? I thought it was free." And he goes,
Fourth quarter.
"Yeah, at the end of the third, I mean."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, you have to pay after the third quarter." And I was like, "Oh man, the fourth hasn't even started." It was like, "All right." And then so I just paid for it, and then I went to go out, and he's like, "No, and you're not allowed to take it out on the court." It's like, "Oh, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's fine." He goes, "You got the screens here, just watch the game in here." I'm like,
he was there going, down
I'm not here that
down
often. So it was like, yeah, bam, see you later, cheers.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a great experience when you get there, and yeah, that was look, Indiana. They've got a good team.
We almost had really good seats for this.
You almost had really good seats.
Like I'm talking about row 1, sat next to Tyrese Halliburton.
But he's going to be on the court.
Yeah, but like I'm talking, we're in his row.
Oh, okay.
It was right next to the Indiana bench. Now I was just looking at tickets, and I saw tickets for $1,000.
Oh wow.
2 seats, $1,000 each, row 1, courtside, right next to Indiana. And I was like, I've never seen that in my life before.
No.
And I was trying to persuade someone.
Yeah.
We need to do this.
Yeah.
We need to do this because I've never seen seats in the center of the court like that.
No,
we need to do this.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, look, you only live for once. Screw it. I know it's the most expensive game we'll ever pay for. Screw it. You know, when you die, you're going to go, I wish I did that.
Yeah.
Aren't you? And after a few days and hearing every excuse under the sun of why we shouldn't do it, I was thinking, screw this. I'm going to go and buy them myself, chuck them on a credit card, and then put them back out there for about $3.5 grand, because that's kind of what they're at.
Yep.
What you would expect normally. Went to go buy them. Guess what?
Yeah, they're $3.5 grand. Yeah.
$3.5 grand. I thought someone's already done it, but yeah. So well done. If you're listening, you know who I'm talking to.
I mean, yeah, you would. It's a shame, but at the same time, at least you're going to have that.
Well, next time I'm going to do that.
Look,
You can come with me.
They're going to
and
see
we'll
people.
Go, you sit in row 10, and we'll be row 1. We'll wave to you from the front.
Yeah, damn right. That's the way. Yeah,
I want to do it once in my lifetime. Be on the court, sat there, row 1, doing the old Spike Lee. Come on, Magic! Come on!
Would you wear like a Spike Lee coat, like a Magic one, where it just has Magic in the big bold print with all colours?
Don't know. Let's get the tickets for the court
full
first.
Spike mode.
Oh yeah, could do. Yeah, why not?
Because they just, I mean, we'll kick off I would say we're kicking off the NBA topic. Let's kick off with the WNBA, because there was obviously huge victory for them with the Liberty, New York Liberty.
That's a quiet applause.
That is a quiet applause, but
There's a big 3 from the
Sabrina,
just from the logo almost.
Cool.
But yeah.
Do you know what was funny? Have you seen the reports afterwards? So they're pretty salty. The Lynx, which is the Minnesota Lynx team. Obviously, you got the Timberwolves and the Lynx.
Hang on, a women's NBA basketball team salty? Are you serious, Mark?
Oh, salty. She is. Super.
For our American listeners, that is what we call in England sarcasm.
Yeah.
Salty, Mark.
Salty.
No.
Hey,
surely not.
Last person who called me salty was one of my colleagues from America. He's like, "Man, you're a salty guy." I was like,
bitter.
I am salty.
Not you, but that's the other
yeah.
bit.
Like, don't forget it. Wash your damn mouth out. But basically, she said that was not a foul at the end. Like, that shouldn't have been called as a foul. That was like, it was terrible officiating. Basically, the refs were all against them. There's been a lot of, not a lot of, but on the socials, you can get all the bombards of everyone jumping on the bandwagon, saying the refs are rubbish and all that sort of stuff, poorly done. But her response was that that wasn't a foul. And she said, congratulations to them for winning their first. We were chasing our 5th. Our 5th championship. And you go, ooh. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. It was kind of like, oh, well done. You're now in the pond.
That's a you're hard moment.
Yeah, that is like, oh, well done. Ooh, you've got 1.
You're hard.
We've got 4. We were going for number 5.
Yeah, you're hard.
But yeah, well done. I just thought, oh, that's a hell of a response.
Taking it back.
New York Liberty. But the reason
Back
is
to the Big Apple.
because you were saying about
Number
Spike. So Spike Lee was there with his Liberty in all the Liberty colours, and he's there right next to Sabrina. And he's like, come on, yeah. And she's there like, yeah, bang that 3 in. And you think,
Wow,
man, he is New York till he dies. Like
he's
it's like
finally seen the
whatever game-
championship. Good for
Yeah,
him.
that's it. He's
Good for him.
Or you think of the millions he's probably spent.
I love Spike Lee. What a fan.
There was a thing I saw somewhere on it, and so you know that they've done a thing for him for the Hall of Fame, don't you?
Oh, what, like fan?
No, there's a super fan thing. So I think there was 3 super fans who got put in there. Him, Jack Nicholson.
Oh yeah.
And there was another guy, and I've totally forgot his name. I'll try and look it up. But basically, they've been put in as super fans.
A lot of super fans from LA are probably especially well known.
Well,
Flea.
they made it as a special. Made it a special segment.
What's the drummer from Chili Peppers called? Chad
Smith.
Smith.
Yes.
Chad Smith. He's a big fan. There's a few actors. There's one actor. Can't remember what his name was. You'd recognise him straight away from LA, and he was filming, and he was like, "I need to go to New York to watch this Laker game in the playoffs." Oh, no, not in the playoffs, in something. And they were like, "No, there's no way you can go." He finished filming, got straight on a plane, went to New York, and he had like a hat, sunglasses on. And he's like, "We're fine.
Really?
Game will finish, and we'll fly back." No one will
That's
know about it.
amazing.
Anyway, on TV, camera zoomed straight into him and his name, and he was like, "Well, they know now." So yeah.
That's it. Alan Horowitz, Spike Lee, Jack Nicholson, and Billy Crystal. But they were all recognised as being super fans, and they've been put into the Hall of Fame. I love it. How cool's that? I mean, you know, we did a thing about Lethal Shooter because he's had a segment there as well. Ice Cube has got something in the Basketball Hall of Fame as well for doing, I think it was contribution to basketball, because obviously he's done Big 3, set up a whole league based around that. And
the super fan thing is basically how much money have you got to spend, isn't it? Really, how much money you got to spend and how much time have you got?
Yeah, I think to a certain point, but it's just like, how cool's that they've just been honoured by it, and you go, I think Jack Nicholson wasn't there in person, but everyone else they were there in person for that. But that's a cool thing that they've all done that. So this week, I wanted to look at the NBA coming up.
Sorry, can I just say there's some news that you were talking about the WNBA that you've glazed over, Mark.
Uh-oh.
And
years.
I know Angel Reese, a little bit of criticism every now and then about her.
Doesn't hurt.
But she got off lightly, Mark.
Oh,
She
really?
got off lightly.
Why is that?
She bet Shaq 100 grand that he would miss a free throw.
Yeah.
Now look, all I'm going to say, if that was me or you, Shaq could be talking to his lawyers and going, "Hey, boys, where's my money?"
Yeah.
Angel Reese, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, that's more than she makes in a year. Like,
Yeah,
no, it is.
I think it's like, is it 90 grand or something? Or 79 grand?
75 or something like that. And the reason I know that is because they had a thing that came out, and she said, I live above my means. My rent is something like $8,000 a month or something like that. And you go, hang on a minute, that's more than you make on your salary. But of course, they're all getting endorsements for like a couple of million or 2 million. So
Yeah.
they're okay. Don't worry about their money.
Yeah.
But
She owes Shaq 100 grand.
that is quite funny. That is quite funny. They've done that.
Made me laugh.
Yeah, but look, WNBA's wrapped up. I think it's fair to say it's, you know, Caitlin Clark had a great season, has raised that game.
She's raised the profile of the entire league.
Yeah, and it's, you know,
And I recommend.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens the next season.
Well, you look at how many fans have watched WNBA games, shot up, but in particular, how many have gone to see her games.
Yep.
So that is where the focus is at the moment. Like I said, my advice would be for the WNBA. I think the WNBA.
They're tuning in for this, aren't they?
Yeah. The WNBA players move away from the bitterness, the saltiness of, hang on, it's not my show. Whatever it is, where this aggression is coming from, bloody jump on the bandwagon.
Hell yeah.
And all your salaries are about to go up.
Rising tide. raises all ships.
Yeah.
It's like, there's
a model that's been seen before. Look at the NBA.
Yeah.
You've seen the model before. You have that.
Just jump on it.
Jump on the bandwagon.
And especially as well, the one thing I read about it that I thought, someone put it in a really great way. I think it was Chimey said it. Great analyst. She's actually re-signed for ESPN. Congratulations to her on that. But they put basically, what, like you said, why we're always fighting. So can you name another player that in sports where they've had to relocate a game to get a big enough location for the crowd to go in? And not once, every other game for the season for multiple teams, because the venues just can't cope with the capacity of people who want to come in and watch that team play.
Yeah.
And you go,
that's only a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a good problem to have.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. You've got more people who want to come and watch your game. It's like, why are you getting bitter about it?
Yeah. Well, it's because
they
hang on, you're not watching me.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, of course.
I am not the main spectacle.
No.
But yeah, let's see.
Well, yeah, let's see. I
More
mean,
positive for the NBA. But again, what I would say is, and I said this going back, guys switch off to all that.
It's not interesting.
It's like guys just go, drama, not interested.
And perfect example. And before anyone jumps on and goes, oh, it's a bit sexist, look at Joel Embiid. Look at Ben Simmons. Two people who constantly going off with injuries. Kawhi Leonard, nice little segue straight into the NBA. Look at these players. They're always off injured, and everyone's bored of it now. They're like, so Kawhi hasn't played a preseason game yet. Is he going to start the season? No, at the moment they don't know if he is or not. Embiid's still out. They reckon Simmons might come back, and you go, does anyone care? Is Ben Simmons, is he still in the league? Like, no one cares. Like, sorry mate, you've been out that long and you've been that unreliable. No one gives a monkeys about you anymore. Like, you've kind of you've lost that ticket, and you pass around a couple of teams. Embiid signed a massive supermax contract, then immediately went off with a knee injury, and you're like,
I just
I don't know why they signed him
about
on that. That was insanity.
His ability in the playoffs. It's like what?
Yeah, why they did that, no one knows. And well, I do know, and I don't know who it was. It might have been Stephen A or someone, but they basically said they bought him because they don't want someone else to have him, and that makes sense to me. Would you want Embiid if he was fit? He's a monster.
I'd say
he's an absolute if he's physically fit and his knees are all up and everything like that. He's been in the league a while now, and he's obviously big guy, so he's probably taking a battering. Like
he was
Shaq
on my
did.
team, and our biggest competitors came to me. Ring, ring. Hello. You want Embiid? No worries. See you later. He's yours. He's on his way. See you later. Bye.
Really?
Done.
You'd send him?
Yeah. 100%.
Well,
100%.
So the Celtics go into this season, they're the favourites.
Yeah.
To do a back-to-back. And we looked at this on the GMs. So we were talking about this with the actual GMs. If people who don't know, there's actually a survey.
Can people see this at the moment?
I can put this up for them. And let's put this up.
Is this where you're going with this?
Yeah.
The GM winners?
Yeah. So the GMs every season do a survey. And you can look back in history and see all of the predictions that people have made. So here's some of the key ones. People would say, for example, who's going to win 2002, 2003, based in mind that was, the reign of Kobe in his first sort of round of that. Everyone predicted Lakers. Who won? San Antonio. Next year, they predicted the Lakers. Who won? Detroit. So it goes down these lists. It's really interesting. But a lot of it is all based on the GMs and who they all think collectively. And they all vote separately. But I think it's fascinating. Like, these are the owners of the team.
This is the actual champion.
These are the people who actually won.
So this is the GM, the team of the GM that's won, or the team that's won?
That's the team that's won.
Yeah.
And this is who won the vote as the most likely.
So who did win the GM?
What do you mean, who did win the GM?
Is this the actual GM champion, or the person who... What?
No. All the GMs basically, I want to say, make a bet with themselves. I don't know if they bet.
Oh, sorry. Vote who they think will be the champion.
Yes.
I thought this was the best GM.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So they literally, all of them, it looks back at like these are all the NBA general managers.
Oh, sorry, I thought this was like a trophy for
No,
NBA
no, no.
GM.
Lunatic.
I was thinking this is a bit weird.
Yeah, they do an egg and spoon race, and then a sack race. Then they do some.
Okay.
So all of the GMs get together and put a vote in and say which team they think they're going to win. So like someone, I don't know, say in Atlanta will be like, well, I know Atlanta ain't going to win. I think this year maybe Denver got a shot. So they'll vote for that. Anyway, the reason it's important is you go down the list and sometimes everyone says Golden State's going to win. They do. Golden State's going to win. They do.
But if you go down,
Then the
it's
next
less than half.
And it gets harder and harder each time. Last year,
Brooklyn.
Now, do you know why that was Brooklyn, don't you? That's when they had Durant,
Yeah.
when they had Kyrie, when they had Harden. It was like, that's the super team. Everyone thought it was going to be that, and Golden State swooped it. What was interesting is last season, for those who can and can't see, the actual Boston and Denver was the selection that people made. And they were like, we think that's going to be the one. But what actually happened, it was Boston. And you go, but they were there. They thought they were there. This year, everyone's voted and gone an 83% vote. That's where I'm coming to. 83% of them think Boston are going to walk it
Can
again.
you scroll back up? I just want to see the other percentage, if anything close to 80%. Okay, not roughly.
No. So the
70.
only ones were Miami when LeBron was there. 93 for Golden State one time. They were like, that's just almost a unanimous sweep. Toronto.
But again, 87% said Golden State.
Yeah. And then.
And they were one game away from doing it.
Yeah. And then look down here. If you look at some of these, Milwaukee over LA, and you think everyone's gone for this. So
Boston are going to win their 19th banner this season.
So
That's what they're saying.
But they do the same thing for the MVPs as well. They all vote on who they think is going to be the MVP. So it's really fascinating. But I love this, the fact that the GMs of all the teams are putting a vote, because you always forget, like, well, you just think, well, they just be invested in who they are. But even people who are, I mean, look at this, best shooting guard. Look at how many Kobe's got.
Wow.
And then you got James Harden. Devin Booker, best shooting guard? No. Best small forward, T-Mac. It's just fascinating. So I thought it was really, really clever. Anyway, what was interesting this year was Boston. And then they had, I think, who was the second team? I think the second team was the Timberwolves at like 13%. And the third team was Dallas with like 5%. That's who who.
Is that where this is all?
Yes.
This is what this is all about. So you can talk about Dallas.
But yeah, that was so they ask them all these. Look, there we go. Boston, Oklahoma, and
Let's
Dallas.
see the full list.
There we go. And these are all the predictions. That's how they reckon the Eastern Conference is going to be.
GMs, are you kidding me? You're Orlando, sixth. What are you doing?
Yeah. I would switch.
NBA GMs, you are a disgrace.
Wow. I would switch Orlando and Cleveland. I'd put Orlando in fourth at least, because they were really punching. But I think it's a really good reflection, because just looking at this, you go Boston this year. Yeah, they have got a strong team. Kristaps Porzingis is out already.
I was thinking New York when you started talking about this, thinking of why aren't they up there? But they're not up there because they're saying Boston is in the same conference.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Go on, let's go up. See the other one?
Yeah. But this is my interesting point on this. Milwaukee, right? Last season, they had Dame Lillard joined, and they also got Doc Rivers when the whole coaching thing went crazy. And that kind of didn't work for them. But this year, it's almost like a make or break. Now, Giannis actually joked in a press conference saying, well, like if you don't perform, what happens? You get sacked, you get traded. Giannis wants to stay in Milwaukee. And there's a brilliant documentary on Giannis on Amazon Prime. And I don't know if you've seen it yet. It's brilliant. It's really, really good, because it's about Giannis and like his home.
What, when he grew up in Greece?
How he grew up in Greece and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
Is it France?
No. It was Greece.
Okay.
Come from Africa, go to Greece. Giannis grew up in Greece, and then from there, you're thinking of Wemby in France. There was one they've done on Wemby, but the Giannis one was brilliant because it talks about him and his brothers and how he brought everyone on, and that's...
Is it like a documentary, or is it like a reenactment.
No,
show.
it's a document. It literally shows him when he's like 18 and
There's
stuff.
another one.
It's
There's
amazing.
another one on Disney, I think, where it's like same thing, but it's a reenactment.
This one's on Amazon Prime at the moment.
Oh, check that out.
Go check it out. It's absolutely brilliant because you look at it and then people have made jokes about Thanasis and stuff, but Milwaukee are looking at re-signing him again because they're like, he's one of the best people for like team spirit and everything. And more importantly, the motivation he had and he gives his brother, it's like borderline, it's frightening. When you see like they showed a game where Giannis was playing and he's a kid at this point, he's 18, and they finally brought his family over from Greece because they didn't have passports or anything like that. It's amazing. I'm not trying to ruin it. But that game
ruined it, Mark.
That game, you watch how he goes off and it's like, damn, he's all about family. And you get that and you go, if Milwaukee can click this year, there's no reason why they're not in the top 2.
And look, I'm speaking for the rest of the world when I say, yes, we want to see Thanasis re-sign with the Milwaukee Bucks so we can see him take on Bronny Jr.
Oh, that'd be so good, wouldn't it?
Both of those two on the court. Mark and it would never happen, but if there was a mismatch, come on.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
That'd be great.
That would be hilarious. I mean,
I'm talking for the world there.
Yeah, that would be
They
brilliant.
want to see that moment.
Everyone wants to see that. I mean...
So, right, Mark, come on, let's do this.
So that's Eastern.
Have
Western
some guts.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you saying is going to be 2024-25 NBA champions? You can be GM of this podcast.
Oh.
Who are you going for?
Okay.
If you say Dallas, I'm going to throw my pen at your face.
Why am I not going to back them? Why am I not going to back them?
Go on. Who are you going for?
Dallas.
Wow. You're saying Dallas
I'm telling you why.
Champions.
We've just done East there. Boston, New York, Philly, Milwaukee, Orlando. That they got East is strong, but they're all quite. I'm not saying not level pegging, but any of those you go have the potential. I think Cleveland are weak. I don't know why they're in it. Orlando are stronger than Cleveland, in my opinion.
And Denver third.
Okay, so that's where you go to the West. Look at the West. Look. So who joined Dallas in the offseason? Klay Thompson, one of the Splash Brothers, like one of the best 3-point shooters
10 years ago.
Still, man, you see him in practice. It's ridiculous. Am I a giant fan of Klay?
Hey, he was like 0 for 8 or 0 for 9 in one of his preseason games.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. But that's what I mean. It's the mental game. If you can get it past that mental game, he could be an asset. But I did read a report that I thought was really interesting. It's one of the NBA analysts, and they said about Dallas, they went, we saw Kyrie at his best last season. We probably saw Luka at one of his best moments as well. So you go, unless Klay can add something to it, will they ever win that final? And probably the answer is no. So they do. And, you had Blake Lively, you had some amazing players come in, but they just need that extra ingredient. So Dallas is there with a...
You're saying Dallas Mavericks.
I'd love to see Dallas.
Shockingly.
Yeah, I want to see them in that final.
NBA champions.
I want to see them as the final. I want to see them as a champion. I'd love it if someone like Orlando got.
Is this your heart or head talking?
Head.
Your head is saying Dallas Mavericks going to win it this year.
Yeah.
Oh, one. Yes. Yes. Someone sent me a picture of someone wearing a Dallas Maverick. They came from the future, and they were wearing a Dallas Maverick championship cap for this season. Remember that picture I showed you? Some guy sat in a restaurant eating a burger or something, and he had a Dallas Mavericks champions 24, 25. Yeah. Mark, that is someone. Is that because you're saying this?
I'm just saying that is.
Had their pitch taken from the future.
It could be.
Oh.
I look at that and I just go.
I was skeptical until I thought about that picture I got sent, and now I'm leaning to agreeing with you. Well, just purely based on that picture.
But what happens if tomorrow someone sends you a picture of Phoenix holding the trophy? Changes it.
They went to the future and took that picture. That's by going into the future and taking that picture, they changed the future of the guy with the cap coming back.
Yeah, but is that will have had because they have changed the timeline, but that's a different timeline to the one timeline we're talking about.
Depends. You believe in the multiverse or not, Mark?
No.
Two theories, Mark.
It depends if you believe time's linear or not.
Oh, God, this is getting a bit heavy.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to go for
The one that surprises me is Oklahoma. I don't know why Oklahoma. They say it's good because they're a young team. They've got some good fire in it. They've had a couple of changes. Obviously, Giddy's not there. They've instead got Caruso. But the team's young and they've got Shy. Can they do something great? Yeah. Minnesota, they've traded Big Cat. But who have they got instead? They got Julius Randle and DiVincenzo. So Minnesota, are they still strong? They've got Anthony Edwards. Denver, amazing team still. They've still got Joker. You can never write them off with arguably one of the best all-round players in the league.
You talk about
Phoenix. Phoenix are done. They're not doing anything.
You talk about TV shows. On Netflix at the moment, there's a TV show called Starting Five.
Yes.
That's worth a watch.
Yep.
It's really interesting just taking the curtain and going behind it and seeing
The circus.
how the players, act normally. Seeing how they live, seeing some of the families. I just thought it was a great watch. This is tough.
Because look, these are people just giving their this
is GMs.
These are GMs saying their top 6 and 7.
But it's not like
it's not the full teams.
they're
It's not
involved
the full
with
30.
it. So
Yeah,
it's a strong opinion that you're basing this.
it
on.
is.
But it's
Look,
very heavily based on the league table from
Look,
last season.
It says here last year.
That's what I would say.
Last year, 70% picked Denver to win the West. After the Nuggets was Phoenix, then Lakers, then and they have a whole list of how the things go through. So you go like, what's interesting here is you look first. You got people have got Denver, Dallas, and Phoenix all at first, but only 7% of them.
I'll tell you what.
It's really, really interesting.
You pick someone from the West, so I'm going to pick someone from the East.
Yes.
And
Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic.
no, because look, my heart would say yeah, Orlando, but look, they need to win a playoff game, like a playoff series.
Yeah. That if they win the series, that is their championship. If they win a series.
Yeah, I think that's what people
if
want to see now. See them get through a
Second
playoff
round.
series.
Second round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, look, it's a young team. Let's see what they do.
Yep.
I'm going to go New York. I'm not saying Boston. I'm going New York.
Ooh, with the big cat.
I think I put in the Portsmouth Fury sweepstake. I think I put New York to go through into the final last year, or very least conference final.
Look, it wouldn't surprise me because they've got some absolute.
Mark, I'm saying New York.
Listen, they got rid of Julius Randle. That's a rocket, and they've got the cat instead.
They're going to see that WNBA championship trophy and be like, we need to get it. We need to get it.
Wow.
There you go. There's my prediction. Let's see how wrong we both are.
Yes.
So
hang on. What's interesting is you don't think Boston are going to do it back to back.
No, it's more that I'm not jumping on a bandwagon and going, yeah, Boston. Yeah. It's easy to say, yeah, Boston. And yeah.
Well, that's gonna give us a nice little segue. How about that? It's like our first radio or anything. But I said this to Paul and he was like, no, that can't be that many. Retired numbers for Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
18 championships they've won to date. 24 jerseys they've retired.
What year was the club created?
Oh, I don't know.
Established.
It's got to be
1942,
46, something like that.
No, Mark. I'd say it's 30s. Let's have a look.
I know they're one of the oldest, if not the oldest, aren't they? Or is it? The problem is you're merging, aren't you? Merging like ABA and.
I don't think they were any ABA. I think that's teams like San Antonio, New Jersey.
Who was the other one then? What was the other one? It was
Tropics.
Tropics.
I don't know what city they were from. With what's he called?
What do you mean? What city?
The film Semi-Pro. You had the Tropics with Jackie Moon. Baby, I want to love you sexy.
Oh, no.
I want to do a little thing to you.
Well, look, I've zoomed it in just so that everyone can see.
1946. You are correct, Mark. 1946.
Yeah! Stick that up yours. Right. So,
So
these are the numbers.
1946.
These are the numbers that they've retired, and the best bit is the one at the very, very bottom. So Robert Parrish, yeah, no question with that. 1,106 games he played for the Celtics. It's not bad, is it?
Bloody hell. How many are we talking being retired?
24. That's what we said. 24 numbers.
In 78 seasons.
Yeah. So they've had 18 championships. 18 championships.
1 in
70 odd
3 seasons they retire a number.
They retire a number. You got
On average.
Robert Parrish, Walter Brown, Red Auerbach, of course. Now, Red Auerbach.
You did have 3 of arguably the greatest franchises.
9 titles.
You had the 60s.
Yeah.
And then I guess...
Just
the,
that 80s.
oh, sorry, Bird.
Yeah.
McHale and all that lot.
Yeah.
And then obviously...
the one on the end.
who was it? Paul Pierce and all that, those guys.
Garnett and everyone, yeah. So...
I mean, that's probably a lot of these
Number
players,
2...
right?
Auerbach won 795 games as the coach of the Celtics, won 9 titles over 16 years with the team, and that's pretty impressive in itself. But ahead is number 2 jersey retired.
Sorry, who was that?
Red Auerbach.
Yeah, Red. Yeah,
So-
yeah.
But he, I was looking at it thinking, did he play as number 2 or something? Or I don't know why the number 2
He
was.
coach, wasn't he?
I know, but why number 2? Like, no one
Probably I'd say the number 2 man after Walter Brown, the founder. That's what
Yeah.
I would say it's based on. I'm sure there's a better reason.
You know
I don't
what?
know.
I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? Because look, 7 championships Walter Brown won after founding it.
The only person allowed to light a cigar
Oh, he was, wasn't he?
in the garden.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure he was still doing it when he lighted
Oh yeah, he didn't give a monk at
it.
that point.
Game's over.
Yeah, he didn't care. So, Dennis Johnson, number 3. So we've
Are
got.
you actually going to do every single number?
Well, do you know what I think's funny? This is what I think's funny. Kevin Garnett, they retired his number 5.
Championship material, mate.
I know.
Franchise player.
I was really surprised at it.
NBA legend.
Oh, there's no question, but I was very surprised that they did that. Garnett's famous for wearing number 21 at the Wolves. And they retired his number 5, which obviously won him. But I just thought it was funny. Like, he wasn't there that long. Big Bill Russell. There's no one is ever going to question that, ever. Jojo White, 7-time All-Star. Bob
Did we
Cousy.
do a Celtics 60s? Have we done that one yet?
We haven't done the Celtics 60s yet. We've done.
we'll do a Celtics
We
one
did
then.
Showtime. We've done Detroit. It's time to do the Celtics at some point. We haven't done Larry yet.
It's very 80s based.
It is very age based.
Maybe we'll do a double header week. The Celtics 60s, Celtics
Why not?
in the 80s.
Yeah. So one's pre-NBA, one's post-NBA. One's with the 3.9, one's without. Look, Bob Cousy, Tommy Husson, Tom Sanders, John Havlicek. Obviously, everyone knows.
Havlicek.
Yeah, I know. Havlicek. 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 Okay. This is the best bit. Dave Cowens, number 18. I want you to remember that.
Dave Cowens, number 18.
Yeah.
Remembering that.
Rookie of the year. Yeah. We go through. We've got Don, Phil Sharman, Ed McCauley, Frank Ramsey, Sam Jones, Casey Jones, Cedric Maxwell, Kevin McHale, Larry Bird, obviously, Paul Pierce, Reggie Lewis.
Can I say something that's going to mess you up?
No. I want to get to Jim.
All right, I'm going to come back to Paul Pierce.
Come back to
I
him in a
heard
sec.
something about him the other day. I was like, what? I didn't know about
Come back to him.
Yeah, go on.
So Jim lost cutoff, right? Jim won 7 championships with the Celtics, but he did not want the number. It says right here. He didn't want it retired. So they retired the jersey where it said Losky. Now let's go back. This is brilliant, I think. To Dave Cowens. Because Dave Cowens wore number 18 and went, yeah, I want you to retire my jersey. And you can retire that number as well. So the other guy said, Lousy said, no, I don't want you to retire it. Let someone else play in it. You don't retire a number, just put my name up there. What a nice thing to do. The other guy's like, absolutely retire it. That's my number. That's my number 100%.
Hey,
but I love that.
if I was the original guy, I'd be going, phone him up.
hang
Hey,
on.
fellas, come on.
Yeah.
If you're going to do someone's, you might as well put mine up there.
Yeah. Just think it's like you said, I don't want it up there. And then the next minute they've gone, no, we're putting that up. Sorry, mate. Just think, bloody that's cheeky, isn't it? Well, that just, it properly tickled me, that did. But 18 championships and 24 retired numbers. I mean, no other team's got that many. And yet, here we are with the Raptors, that we've seen that they've now said that they're going to retire Vince Carter's. And that'll be the first time they've retired a jersey in the organisation.
Yeah.
Same thing happened when they were doing it with Orlando Magic as well. So some of these other franchises have been very late to retiring jerseys.
Can I give you some Paul Pierce knowledge?
Give me some Paul.
Now, I heard this the other day and I went, nah, that's crap.
Yes.
That's rubbish. And then I looked into it and it was all over the place. And I was like, how? I've never heard this before.
Right.
And it was on ESPN. And I don't know if you know about this. You know, Paul Pierce was stabbed 11 times.
11?
When he was playing for the Celtics.
Damn.
Did you know about that? I didn't know about it.
No.
And I've got a couple of quotes here, but basically it was September 25th when he was at a Boston nightclub. He got in an altercation. I won't go into detail.
Damn.
He was hit in the head with a bottle and stabbed multiple times in the neck, chest, and back. He underwent lung surgery to repair the damage. An inch or so in another direction, he would have died. 3 suspects in Pierce's stabbing await trial. So I don't know when's this article was. This month, maybe that's why it's come out.
Wow.
I keep my mind. This is Paul Pierce. I keep my mind off it. Basketball, being around my family, not talking about it, and when I'm hurt on the court, I never think about the incident. It's tough, day in, day out, not to think about it or dream about it. And I'm not going to lie, I have. And I wake up and I see the different scars on my body, and it's hard not to think about it.
Wow. Never knew that.
I'm trying to get a year for you.
Never knew that. And, you know, dare I say, I won't say, look, the information age is great nowadays, but stuff like that happening never came across the pond very much. From anyone from Europe and anywhere outside of the US,
Here you go.
the internet and all that sort of
Mark,
stuff.
this is what's amazing about it.
Years.
Stabbed 11 times in 2000, and he still played every single game of the 2000-2001 season.
Hardcore. That's brilliant.
Well,
Fair play to.
No,
it's brilliant. He was stabbed 11 times and still played the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And then MB can't do a preseason game because his knee's a bit sore. And so, what about George? Oh, yeah, he's just come over from the Clippers.
That's why Paul Pierce is a Celtic legend.
Yeah. I mean, the one character we haven't mentioned actually is Kawhi. Like, he hasn't played at all this season. And they're like, oh, is he going to play? We don't know. I don't understand why all these players are having all these things where they're like, yeah, he can do this, he can do that. And the best person who summed it all up was the legend that is Charles Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
And they had it in a clip, and I would try and find it, but it'd take too long. And he basically just says, they're like, Charles, you haven't got him in you haven't got anyone in the Clippers in your top 50 players. And he's like, well, yeah, they got to play to be in a players list. And they're like, but you haven't got any of the team. He's like, no, they're not good enough. And he said, if you are someone and you actually can play, like, your job is to play. You are a player.
It's a different mentality.
If you're not playing, 100%.
Those guys are a different mentality.
100%. And you go, if you've got an injury that keeps recurring, and this is not just picking on Kawhi, because look, we've just talked about of Embiid. Porzingis, he's had like multiple surgeries. He had it when he was at the team I'm not allowed to mention. He had it at previous teams as well. When these players keep getting these injuries and keep having all these micro surgeries and stuff, Lonzo Ball, he's coming back to Chicago apparently after 2 years.
He played preseason. He looked right.
He looked all right. He's had 2 whole seasons off, not playing at all. And you go, they're now actually going, oh, maybe we could trade him because his contract's up at the end of this year. And you go, they'd either get something for him now or get nothing for him at the end of the contract. So you look at all these players and you go, you're not, all right, you're getting big paydays. They're getting crazy money. We all know that. But they're not doing their actual careers any good. And I think that's a real shame because Then when you see players like the Giannis or Joker or Jaylen Brown, like at Celtics, and you see all these guys and they've been at the same team, there's something about that. And that was in that documentary. I thought, when you see that, you go, that's what the fans want specifically. Like, I want to buy a jersey and have that jersey for a few years and not think, oh, that player's going to just jet off to the next.
I like it when fans go and they think, hey, I've just spent over $100 on this jersey. I'm not binning it. And they just get some like duct tape and just do a crossover and go, that's fine. That'll do.
Yeah.
But,
absolutely fair play.
I think some of those older players, it's a different mentality where it's just like, I think it was Bill Laneberry once said, like, unless you're dying, like, you're going out on that court.
Yeah, no blood, no foul.
Like,
You got to get out there and do it.
However, in fairness to the players of today, the technology around healthcare and stuff like that is to the point where it's like, if you play this season, your career's done.
Yeah.
We can tell you that now. It's, if you rest the season, you might have another 3.
Oh, 100%. No, see, that's the thing. You go, the perfect example of that person, arguably, is Grant Hill, who had some, problems, and then he got problems from having the surgery where he almost died and all that stuff. But the reality was he crippled his contract and how the contract was rated and stuff. He basically crippled the Magic for probably a decade. Because they couldn't buy anyone, they couldn't do anything. Because they were just locked into this crazy amount of money, which is so that's why when people are, well, what are we going to do with Kawhi? You go, mate, you still got him for another year. Like, what are you going to do with him? Not a lot. The owners Steve Ballmer spent $2 billion he spent, or $1 billion at least, on that new Intuit Dome with the whole.
Is that this season?
They've started. Yeah,
nice.
So you go, that's all happening.
I heard,
and Paul George obviously was like, "Yeah, we're going to be playing in that." Oh, mate, no, you got traded. You got a Philly.
I feel for him. That knee looked almost hyperextended. It looks painful when you see that picture.
Well, yeah, because it's just like it's a perfectly straight leg, isn't it?
It doesn't look right.
That's not the way it's supposed to be.
Awkward. But I think this was Bill Russell, I remember hearing saying this. But when he was playing, Red would be like, I think he was like, look, he dove on the floor and his knees were bleeding one game.
Right. Yeah.
And then he was like, Red was like, Bill, go and make your knees bleed. And so Bill Russell would make his knees bleed, so they're bleeding and go, right, cool, we can play now. Let's go. Let's start the game.
Really?
Yeah. I'm sure it was Bill Russell in one of his documentaries.
Oh, wow.
Actually, that might be Netflix. There's a Bill Russell documentary. I want to say it's maybe 3 or 4 episodes. That's really good. It's a really good documentary, that. I'm sure I've mentioned that on the show already.
Okay. That is pretty mental. I mean,
right.
I was just trying to see if I had. Here it is. This is a little bit of Chuck, and we should be able to play this, but I can play the audio.
Can everyone hear this? See it?
Well, I can put it up so everyone can see it. Let's have a.
Can these guys hear it though?
Yeah, they'll be able to hear it. Here we go. Let's see if this comes out.
I'll turn this down.
No Kawhi?
Nope. You can't tell me to put on my list either. Mind your own business.
Kawhi Leonard?
Okay.
Not in your top 40?
I didn't put him in there, did I?
No.
Okay. Because he's not healthy. He hasn't been healthy in 5 years. You got to play basketball. The best ability is availability.
No, you don't have any Clippers on this list yet.
Yeah,
How
'cause
good
that's
is that?
The best ability is availability.
How good is that? How good is that?
What is it? Who is questioning Charles Barkley?
It's the producer.
Like, but why is a producer jumping in and saying, why aren't you putting Kawhi in?
Wow, exactly. Exactly.
That raises questions.
Yeah. I mean, people ask about,
Right.
is there favoritism and stuff like that?
Of course there is.
Of course there
Of course
is.
there is. They're going, right, let's get those ticks.
You got to get
We
the ticks.
need those franchises in there.
You got to get the ticks in, haven't you?
Mark, before we go anywhere, we've got to say a huge shout to Bronny Jr. for finally scoring in pre-season game. Good job. Good job. That's out of order, isn't it?
The free throw that he missed in one of the, I think it was against Phoenix, and then they immediately show the clip of Devin Booker. And do you know what? I don't like this now. I think it's quite petty. They get people who are like lip read, and they're like,
okay.
and they'll say, "Oh, what did that player say to that player?"
Oh yeah.
And they do all that sort of stuff. And he said, "Oh, he's something like, oh, he's not at that level, or he's not that good yet, or something."
That was a while ago.
It was only a week. It was one of the preseason games.
Oh,
It was
oh,
Phoenix
no.
versus LA.
Sorry, it was Brown. The Celtics.
Yeah,
got Brown.
but it's
he said it.
But
as well.
it was Devin Booker,
Jaylen
and
Brown.
he was just turning to a teammate. He's like he's even not that good, or he's not up to the level, or something like that. And you think, I don't know what I just not the being hippie, but everyone's so hateful.
Not being hippie,
but the world's so like hateful. The media is so hateful with stuff. It's like, why are you trying to find an angle to make something really like hateful?
Yeah,
like
but
none of us are sitting there going, we'll just go, oh, I wonder what he said. Because at the end of the day, we've all sat around, we've all been on a team like, he's going to brick it, he's going to miss it, that guy needs a shave. We've all done that because we're all just with our friends and we're joking around.
they're trying to stitch.
And it's just
Booker up.
exactly sensational. I'm not a massive Booker fan, but you go, why do you have to go to that level just to make the news? It's like that is the news. The news is that he is on the court, like nepotism at its finest. He shouldn't be on the court. He just shouldn't.
It says to me that the Los Angeles Lakers are not serious this season.
No. Well, they wanted to keep the.
However, go on,
king
get him
happy.
up. What's the guy called? Yeah, they're just trying to keep LeBron happy.
Yeah.
But it's like, but what happened in this pre-season game coming up? What's his name? I can't remember. You got the link on the thing.
Oh yeah. Let me have a look.
I struggle to say his name.
Yeah. Let me find the link. I'm gonna find the link.
So what's coming up is there is a Laker. They were considering whether to sign him, weren't they? Remember that clip you showed me last week where who was it? What NBA team? He missed a free throw.
Yeah. There we go. Let me put him up.
Dalton. How do you say his
Dalton
surname?
Necht.
Hey, I'm gonna have to turn this down when it kicks in. Dalton Necht.
Yeah.
So
we're
you
just gonna-
showed me this guy last week who missed 2 free throws.
Yeah.
And it was like literally goodbye. See you later.
So they were like, we don't know if we're going to put him on.
And Lakers were losing this game.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And he ends up with 35 points.
20 in the final quarter, wasn't it? And what was brilliant was the like you said, it was the JJ Redick, wasn't it? He said to his assistants, they were telling me don't put him back in.
Yeah.
And
Look, this guy's playing for his career. That's what that looks like to me.
oh, 100%.
He's playing for his spot. And look, he's probably just guaranteed his spot for this season.
He's taking his opportunity. That's what you got to do, isn't it? If you're in these sports, it's what you're doing off the ball. Okay, when you're on the ball, are you making it count? Are you adding value to your team? Yeah. He's just taking his shot. Like,
Yeah.
I've got the ball, I've got a bit of space. No one's guarding him heavy. No one knows what he's capable of. They're giving him too much space, and he's just landing everything, isn't he?
And it's him who really got them to get the Lakers into overtime as well.
100%.
So
100%. Look at that.
now I've said that Lakers are going to go and win it this season. But yeah, look.
You reckon?
No, I just don't think the Lakers are serious if they're playing Bronny Jr.
I mean, what's funny is you've got one player, then you're overlooking players who can do that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, what a find. And look, I really like JJ Redick. I think he's got a great basketball mind, especially. I mean, that is purely based on listening to his podcast and listening to his commentary.
Yeah.
On TV and stuff like that. So it will be interesting if he can translate that fantastic basketball mind
Yeah. There we go. I'm going to show you
into
this.
the coaching role.
Oh, I would like to think he could.
Right, let's see. Right, I've turned this down because it's really loud in here for the podcast listeners.
So I would like you.
Don't forget, they need it. You need to explain it to them.
I
what
will.
we're playing.
I will. I would like you to tell me what's going to happen when you have an entry of a game and you're bringing out a team It's just I wanted to put some, like, I'm not saying funny things in the segments I've seen around the basketball world, but this one for me, I thought it was funny, but kind of like
Basketball Island.
kind of sweet as well.
Yeah.
So you imagine you're bringing the team out, all the people are going to do that. They're going to bring the ball and but then the other guy does it and he drops his shoe. It's like it's all going on in Basketball Island.
What's just happened there? One of the teams in Ireland. Is that actual island?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
They walk out holding hands for little boy and like mascots, I guess. And one of the little boy's shoes fall off and he trips up. And so the player just picks him up, holds him up, and then just carries him onto the court.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Quality.
Yeah,
Memories for everyone to enjoy.
Just, it sounds silly, but it's those little bits that you see. I know we're talking about the NBA, but there's like you've got Euroleague's been kicking off and it's going absolutely mental at the moment. I won't say Pal. Everyone was expecting them to be like top of the leaderboard, but then just not at the moment. And I won't say they're not struggling, but they've had a few tough games, which is you know what their coach was like. He was like, "We'll beat anyone."
We'll see.
He
wanted to take on Boston.
He was all about the mouth. So it's really interesting now. They've got their new stadium. They've got everything going on. The whole theatre is around it.
Well,
and
whilst I'm away,
why
don't you get our Euroleague expert,
Georgie,
back on the show? He'll come on.
Big George, we're going to talk about Powell. Ask him what's gone wrong.
Ask him. He'll do it. That'll give the listeners a
100%.
different voice whilst I'm away.
Well, why not?
Though they're going to miss. And now they're going to miss that.
They might. Not.
They will, Mark.
They won't.
Right.
It'll just be tumbleweed. But the games is kicking off for the NBA anyway this week. So the first games, Paul, are who is it? It's Eastern Conference first. The first games, isn't it? Obviously the Celtics. But
Boston Celtics will receive their championships rings. They look nice. They got leaked online. Look really
did they?
nice. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Well, if it's legit, looks really nice.
Haribo rings. That's what it should be. Big old Haribo rings, or just like
they're
big
hosting
gems.
New York. I mean, look, what a feeling that must be to see a banner go up and go, that's my one. What a feeling that must be for those guys. That is my banner. Because you go there and you go, right, there's Bill Russells, there's Birds and all that. And then you go, right, that's my one.
It's a nice way to kick off the season as well. If you're playing the team.
Get a ring.
Yeah, but they're playing New York, who arguably are one of the top.
Big game.
Yeah, it's a big game.
I think New York will win because I think getting the banner going up and getting the rings is a massive distraction. That's just my view on it.
Oh, do you know what? I'd looked at it the other way. I hadn't thought of it as a distraction, but
I say it's a massive distraction.
Because you would be
seen it before. LA when they won the Mickey Mouse one, that they did the same thing.
Yes, they did, didn't they? They got battered on that first game. I'd looked at it.
Question: if you won an NBA championship ring,
I'd wear it every time.
You'd physically wear it on your hand.
100%. The only way I wouldn't is some of them have been like really mental and they've had like little pockets and stuff like that. You go, what am I going to do with that?
So you wouldn't display it, you'd wear it.
If it was a ring that was actually feasible, I mean, look, I'm not. These guys are like 6'6", and they the ring on that looks big, and their hand is probably like this big.
Do they do
compared
it?
to mine? So
they measure it for them, or is it just one size?
No idea.
Mark, you need to get someone on the show.
We'll get someone who's if you've got an NBA chip, give us a shout. You can come on and I was gonna say show us your ring, but that's
Charles Bartley, UK Basketball Podcast. Yeah. Can I come and talk about my rings?
Unfortunately, Charles doesn't have a championship ring, Paul.
That's what the joke was.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't go down too well with Chuck. The second game of the week is.
I'd wear it around my neck.
Oh,
that's how I'd wear it, I think.
Well, look, the T-Wolves are playing in the second game, and so that'll be an interesting one because they're playing the Lakers. So you might get to see your Bronny James get his behind beaten. Yeah. If he goes on the court. But your beloved Orlando Magic, obviously you'll see in the first game.
I'll be there live, mate.
You will be there live.
Don't
worry.
My Orlando Magic brothers and sisters.
Yes.
I'll be there. If you want a beer, let us know. I'll meet you somewhere in the stadium for a beer.
Oh, what a delightful thought for them that they could go and join you for a beer.
0 people will be emailing that one.
It'll be a good total tumbleweed. No one's interested in having a beer.
I do know people who are there. They're going to be calling me, so I said I'll wave. But yeah, right, cool. We done.
Cool. We are indeed.
There we go.
So ends another segment and another edition of Talking Basketball Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't listened to our episodes, go back and check them out. I have been Mark.
And I have been Paul. And I'm off to Orlando. So, one last time for 2-3 weeks. This is for you. Yeah, now stand and cheer for your Orlando Magic. You hated that, didn't you? You hated that, didn't you?